Hello, hello, and welcome. I'm Wayne Bilal with this week's Profit Maximizer Moment. We're going to talk this week about finding your ideal client, your ideal customer. Look, first thing you need to do is know who they are. What is your ideal customer? Knowing your why this is vital to creating a targeted marketing plan. Look, you're not Coca-Cola, you're not um, you know, who else is out there? H&R Block, you're not all these big companies that spend tons of money on branding, right? You just don't have that kind of money as a small business owner. So your goal in marketing is to maximize all your efforts to sustain a profitable relationship with your model customers, your ideal customers. Okay. Researching to do that, you have to start by researching and identifying what their characteristics are, what the needs of these customers are. And once you have that, you'll be able to create messages, products, and promotions that motivate your ideal customers to buy from you. That's the key. All right. So, how do you do that? Well, you start by answering some questions. So, take notes. Replay this, pause it if you need to. So, first, why do customers seek your products or services? Why? Reword that. What problem is your customer trying to solve? Because that's why they buy. They don't buy. They don't wake up one day and go, "Yeah, I want to hire a CPA." They have a problem that they need to solve. Okay. What are the key events that trigger this needs? All right. Well, for us, it's pretty easy. You have a tax deadline. All right. But other things happen. You need to get a loan, so we need a financial statement. I'm paying too much in taxes, so I need somebody to help me reduce what I pay legally. All right. I'm working really hard and I'm not making a lot of money. So, I need to figure out what I'm doing wrong. That's, if you look at it, that's kind of, those are the trigger points that we see. We're on our last bookkeeper, you know, and we put a message together to help with that. It's like, our job is to help you make more money and keep more of it for yourself instead of giving it to the IRS. All legal, of course. We always put that caveat in there. Um, so, that's the way we've identified it. You need to do the same things. Now, once you know their needs and what the problems are, what are the top products and/or services that fulfill this needs? All right. Hopefully, we're talking about your products, but sometimes you're not. Sometimes I have people come to us and they need a gift tax return or payroll return. We don't do either one, but we refer them, because we focus on what we do best, which I just said what they were, helping them make more money and helping them keep more of it from the IRS. So, but usually there's an entry product, something that, or product or an event that causes them to call you. All right. And usually it's an event of some sort. So, like their last CPA passed away or moved, or they're not happy with them. Okay. Um, they opened a business. They just got hit with a nasty tax bill. Their bookkeeper, they're not getting, their business is growing and they're not getting the records they want. So what entry products do you have to offer to them? And how do you prove your expertise? All right. It's easy for me to sit down. It's much easier for me with a business owner to say, we do the two things we do because, yeah, we help you make more money. We wrote a book. We have these products. We have these videos that we do. We have a blog that we've been doing since 2010. You can find it at wjb-cpa.com. There's a tab that says blog. You can even search for different articles of what maybe you have something you need. Um, we do courses. So we prove what we say. All right. On the tax planning side, we show them the product that we do, and we have testimonials. Okay. So, what entry products do you have? All right. What is it that they come in for? If you're selling a product, what is it that brings them in? Um, I use BAK Medical a lot because they're good clients and friends of mine. They sell home medical clients products. So a lot of times, what brings somebody in is a family member that, maybe a mom or a dad or a husband or a wife, spouse of some sort, or a child, whatever, who's got mobility issues or has a problem, and they come in, and that's why they created what was called Caregiver Corner. so that they could give advice to caregivers. So again, what are the top selling products or services? What is it that the customer or client, what's the end result they're seeking? All right. My example, they want to make more money. They want to have more time for, life rather than having their business run them. They want to run their business. They don't want to pay a penny more than what they were supposed to in taxes. And they want to have somebody they can talk to, that they can communicate with. We get busy. There's times like now, which a big deadline is September 15th, where it's hard to answer all the emails on a timely basis, but I try not to let them slide. And they always have another person to contact here. This question, the next one, is very hard, but you need to figure it out. What is solving your customer's problem worth to them? Tricky. Because what it's worth is in their mind, not your mind. Okay. And it's taken me a long time to figure this out. I mean, your prices, especially for services, products, a little bit different, but not really. I mean, there's ways, and we've discussed them in the past, and we'll discuss them in the future to differentiate yourself from the online and the cheapest version. But services, for sure, pricing is pretty elastic. It depends on what they think it's worth to them. So value selling as opposed to hourly selling is a big change I made a long time ago. And pricing, for capacity. There's only so many I can do, so price it so we're making money. Drive off the ones that don't want to pay that price. We want to work with people that see value in what we're doing. Okay, so what is it worth to them? It's a tricky question, and you might have to ask, and you might have to adjust, and you might have to play around and try. Okay. Finally, another question, not finally. Why do customers buy the way they do? Why do they do it? Online, with a phone call, come into your store, call remotely. Really, nowadays you got to be flexible. I've had meetings through Zoom, on a phone call, in person, at their office, at my office, whatever. This one's kind of related to I should have put this question before this last one, really, because it's related to the one before that. What are the price points your customers are comfortable with? Don't guess. One of the things that I did different that really has helped me a lot is having a good, better, best pricing. So here's the baseline pricing. This covers doing a tax return. Pretty much it. I put some other things in there, like I don't charge for answering IRS letters, and you have a couple of meetings. I never track them. So unless somebody abuses it, I say they can see me 2 times without a charge. If it's 3 or 4, I don't I don't pay attention. They can call me, email me, text me. I don't turn the clock on when they call me. All right. Much rather them call me before they get into trouble than after. It's much easier to keep them out of trouble than to get them out. So I found that putting different price points. And the other thing I found with that is people tend to gravitate to the middle one. And some people want the highest one. So don't talk yourself out of doing that. Look at your market, your industry. What is the current marketing trends? Look at your competitors. What are they doing? Is it working? Don't assume it is. Again, BK Medical. We've had times where, for the longest time, we were doing newspaper ads. We stopped and found out that it had, because we asked people where they were seeing us, and because of the internet and social media. This was during the 2000s, and as social media was taking over and Google ads and things, people were not saying the newspaper very often. Almost nothing. And when we got rid of it, there was no decrease in sales. But our competitors took our spot and started running newspaper ads. So just see what they're doing, but don't assume that what they're doing is smart. Okay. Um, Once you know your ideal customers, what's the best way to approach them? I kind of joke when I'm calling a client with questions or just to talk to them or whatever. If they're over 50, I call them. If they're under 40, I text them. If they're between, I kind of do both. But it's kind of true though. What's the best way to approach your ideal customer? Is it social media, radio, face to face, direct mail, email, text? There's all kinds of different ways. How do customers come across you? Always ask. I ask every single new customer, how'd you find me? Um, It's used to be almost always referrals. Occasionally somebody would drive by and see my sign. That's really maybe less than 5%. Okay. Um, Now it's probably 60-40 referrals and the rest is online content. And I don't even advertise online. It's because we do these weekly videos and we do the blog posts that we come up quite frequently. But how did people find you? All right, that's kind of important. Once you answer those questions, what you want to do, and I've discussed this before, is create an avatar of your best customers. A customer avatar is simply a detailed profile of your target customer, which allows you to market to your particular niche where you become the go-to company to solve their problem. Create a targeted marketing message that appeals to a specific prospect rather than the general public. It invites the ones that are best for you and excludes the ones that aren't. They just don't, you've heard ads, they have nothing to do with you, so you don't listen. you know, I mean, women's products, whatever. I don't know, that's not for me. Okay. That's just an extreme example, but not really. Okay. It increases your sales conversion rate because your marketing message appeals directly to your ideal prospect. Okay. It attracts I already said this, it attracts the right customers. You don't waste time on the wrong customers. And it allows you to spend less money on advertising and marketing because you're targeting it perfectly. I've had many a client tell me, I don't need to do this because their product is for everyone. I always tell them to analyze their customers and use the 80-20 rule. Find out what 20% of your customers are bringing in 80% are causing 80% of your revenue. Maybe even 90-10, 10% of your customers are bringing in 90. I've seen that. So who are they? What do they do best? And maybe you should be focusing on them, obviously, huh? Um, the Without fail, though, you're going to discover that this 90-10 rule will show you that the customers that are bringing in the most revenue spend more, come back more often, upgrade to a higher level of products or services, don't really barter you on price, generate most of your profits, are fun to work with and give you great feedback, and best of all, they refer you their friends like them. So that's kind of the key of getting ideal customers. Okay. I ran a little long today. I do apologize. This was supposed to be yesterday, but something came up and just didn't work out. So appreciate you being patient. Until next time, this is Wayne Blau saying, let's make this our most profitable year ever. God bless and see you at church.